Hello again. For my next activity for Critical Assignment 2 for the health class, Chapter 14 again, it was about the abuse of substance abuse. And what I chose was, I really wanted to do younger grades for this because I did 3rd through 5th, the other one. But the options were very limited as far as the ones with the integration going forward, say kindergarten through 2nd grade. So I looked at the standards for, the integration lessons, and I just couldn't find any that really stood out. So what I did was email our professor and ask her if I could, what does she want me to do? And I ended up settling on going for, I wanted to do a peer pressure thing. I think it's really important, and I wanted to incorporate it with kids that were old enough to kind of understand rather than 1st grade, say. So I decided on 4th grade. And so this is for, the name of the activity is Defending Yourself from Peer Pressure. And I chose the activity on page 249. I modified it quite a bit, only because it wasn't really for 4th grade. And the standards I used were HE4C22, explain the important role that friends, peers may play in health practices and behaviors. And Health Education 4C25, explain how media influences personal thoughts, feelings, and health behaviors. The integration area for this was social studies and art, and the area standard that I chose for the integration was 2 of them, actually. One's a visual art standard, create an art to promote awareness of school and or community concerns, and social studies standard for Florida 6.3, describe ways that individuals can either choose to accept risk or take steps to protect themselves, avoiding or reducing the risk. So that's what I chose for that. The detailed description of the activity would be, first we would just talk about peer pressure, up at the class. 4th grade, probably heard of it. Definitely probably have been peer pressured before, don't know it. And I'm going to ask for examples. Do you know what peer pressure is? Have you heard of that word before? And you'll probably get like all kinds of stuff. My brother told me to, slam my bedroom door, or my friend told me to steal a piece of chocolate from the chocolate thing at the grocery store, or something like that. Usually it's associated with negative peer pressure, right? So there's positive peer pressure and negative peer pressure. This is more about leading into substance abuse, peer pressure negatively. You don't want that. Not bullying, because that would be a totally different standard. But anyway, what I did was I thought, I'm pretty creative. I like to come up with things that are fun. I like to come up with hands-on activities. I don't just want to sit there and lecture and have them listen to me in 4th grade and say, yep, whatever, take notes. No, I want to do something that's going to get them moving, to get them thinking, critical thinking. And what I would do is I decided that I would explain the definition first of peer pressure. Look, this is what peer pressure is, okay? It's the influence from members of one's peer group. That's a great definition, right? So we need to figure out, what the problem is here. Someone is peer pressuring someone else to do something that's not right, And so some examples I would give would be regarding substance abuse, if you don't want to get too deep because it's only 4th grade, but you also need to think, what we think about kids in 4th grade, we probably would think they're more innocent than they typically are, and that's just the way that the society is. So, one of the examples in the book was about somebody having a party and sneaking off in a camp out and trying to light a cigarette while there was 3 people there. In around 4th grade, they stole one of their mom's cigarettes or their dad's cigarettes, and they were like, "Oh, look what I have!" After they ate and stuff. And what would you do in that situation? Ask the kids, what would you do? And you can't really say there's a right or wrong answer, because these kids are, just trying to open up and explain what they would do. They need to know what's right from wrong. So hopefully they would know, I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. I'm out of here. So I'm also going to discuss how alcohol and illegal drugs are bad for the body. And I would also explain to them what the difference is between illegal drugs and over-the-counter drugs that are legal. So, kids are funny, and if you say, oh, drugs, they might think anything you have in your medicine cabinet would be a drug, like Tylenol or cough syrup or whatever. And most people don't say oh, I got to stop and get some drugs at the CVS. They have to understand that, okay, there's a difference here. There's something called illegal drugs, which, you really don't want to mess with. There's really bad consequences for doing that. And same with alcohol. You don't want to mess with that. There are bad consequences for doing that. If you take the proper dosage of what's on the box, hence the reason it's written, you probably won't have a bad side effect. So you just need to really explain to them what the difference between regular drugs, like Tylenol, over-the-counter stuff, and illegal drugs are. And then what I would talk about was sometimes people think it's cool or it's the in thing, and that they feel they're going to fit in better with people. They see someone smoking, oh, it's so cool, I'm going to try that around my friends so I can look that cool. It's a way to relieve stress, or they feel like they look older, which is probably one of the most significant things. Kids, for some reason, don't want to be like, oh, I don't play with somebody that's in 3rd grade. I don't play with someone that's in 2nd grade when you're in 4th grade. There's some sort of stigma with that, and it's crazy to me. So, like, everybody always wants to feel older, except when you're old, like me. You feel like, oh, man, I wish I was 20 again, or younger. But that's just how it kind of goes. And so, that appeal to look a certain way or to feel a certain way. Wow, they look like they're having a lot of fun. They're drinking beer. Like, that's cool. And you have to explain to them, those people are older, they're adults, that may be something that they choose to do, but you as a kid, it's not appropriate. It's not time for that. So let's talk about the negative stuff that surrounds it. That way you won't want to try it. You won't want to do it. So what I would talk about is how, again, the media influences the way we think, with ads and rewards associated with the said pressure. It's cool. You're going to look like this, or, you can buy makeup and your face is going to be flawless, or you can buy these running shoes and you're going to run super, super fast and you're going to look like exactly like the lady on TV who's like super duper fit. We need to explain to them, like, that is like very slim chances of you ending up that way. Smoking, drinking, I mean, you could end up like an alcoholic or someone that has lung cancer. You don't want to be associated with that. You don't want to feel that. You don't want to ever have those problems. So it's like, sometimes you need to show what the true effects can be, not just the stuff that you see in the media. So what I would do is have the class come up with ways to say no to peer pressure. So regarding substance abuse. So what I would do is I'd give each kid a poster board, and we have markers and colored pencils and crayons, a lot of different types of media to really facilitate what they want to say. Because the overall goal of this is to hang them up like in the lunchroom or something like that, where kids can look at them and say like, I like what that says. I like what it means. Or, that's a really good thought. Engaging your critical thinking. You're learning, you're activating your prior knowledge from really absorbing what this stuff says, what it can do to you, and how you're going to, stop it. Be a part of a positive movement regarding, not using substances at all. And so what I would do is give everybody a poster board, and then I would say, you need to come up with a catchy slogan, something that's fun, something that, like, say no to drugs. Like, yeah, it gets the point across, but like, let's make your poster exciting for everyone. So like, they look at that and say, that person's really passionate about how they feel because their poster reflects that. So that's what we're going to do. And then I'm going to have them share them with the class after they're done and explain why they chose the slogan and what it means personally to them. Not just like my example, say no to drugs. What does it mean to you? Like, what do you think? Do you really believe what you wrote? Like, even if they find a slogan online or something, like, things typically hit home for a reason or another. And so I would want them to express why it's important to them. I have, my example is a poster I made that I attached here, and it says, I am who I am. Your approval is not needed. So, that's just a great reference for any kind of peer pressure situation. You being confident enough to say, I am who I am, and I don't need your approval. And I think if you instill that at a young age and keep building that confidence, it really will promote someone that says like, oh, you're smoking, oh, you're drinking, I don't want any part of that, see you later, and it just kind of constantly like rolls the ball and makes it a really good situation for the kid. So, sorry about that. So this is the other one I came up with. And it says, only surround yourself with people who lift you higher. And it's backwards because I'm on video backwards. Anyway, this to me is important because when you think of drugs or whatever, you think of being high, right? So this one says, only surround yourself with people, the importance of people, who lift you higher. So it has nothing to do with drugs. It has to do with people that make you feel good, that make you feel higher and, you know, really good about your decisions and, you know, people that you want to associate with. And I think, you know, going back to when I graduated in 2000 from high school, everyone smoked and everyone, you know, partied on the weekend and stuff like that. And I think it's all about where you're from and all that stuff. But if we can instill this going really young, you know, 4th grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, whatever, and just keep building it up each year like the standards do and make them realize, like, this is something I don't want to be involved in. I think that it's so important, really, to see the consequences of poor decisions and bad behavior and hopefully have enough confidence for the peer pressure to say, like, no bueno, I'm done, I'm good, I don't need to be involved in any of that. So that's my presentation on that. I will put the link there too. And I think that's pretty much it. So thanks for being so patient with me. Have a good one.